Hey everybody, how's it going? Hope you're all doing amazing. Thanks for taking the time to hang out this evening. So I picked up the Milviz Corsair. I had this for P3D as well, and Ms. Milviz gave me, I think it was like a small but sizable discount on the Milviz Corsair, and I figured I had to pick it up to see what all the fuzz was about. So we're gonna have a little fun with the Milviz Corsair, and as well an aircraft that is surprisingly becoming my favorite aircraft in Milviz, and it's not really an aircraft at all. It's the media hype train freeware Airbus VTOL Airbus H135 helicopter. Believe it or not, that is actually becoming my favorite aircraft in this sim as of right now, which is either a testament to how well that's modeled or how poorly Milviz does some things when it comes to how aircraft are supposed to handle. But anyway, we're going to have a bit of fun tonight, starting off in the Corsair out of Grand Canyon National Park here, and then we'll do a little bit of helipad hunting in the H135 helicopter later on tonight. But thank you all for hanging out tonight. Joe A, how's it going? Absolutely Aviation, how's it going? Hope you're all both doing fantastic. Joe says you have both, and you can say they're both fun to fly and work well. The Corsair's really raised the bar. It's pretty good. You know, I think there are some limitations, and for the price, I'm really shocked that they didn't model the supercharger operation. You know, besides, well, they really didn't model it at all. So I was a little bit unimpressed with some of the modeling work that they've done. And if you look up close, right, the texture work is not exactly super optimal, as you can tell. Up close, the textures don't look that great. But, you know, that being said, it's a ton of fun to fly. So we'll have a little bit of fun in this tonight. All right, before we hop in the sim here, and you're welcome to fly along in multiplayer if you've got the Corsair, let's talk about our game plan real quick. So I'm going to pull up the iPad on screen. Give me 1 second to do that. Actually, whoops, hold on 1 second. I'm going to pull up the Chrome window on screen, actually. Okay, so this is our trusty old VFRmap.com, and we're going to be just east of Las Vegas, Nevada, of course, the famous Grand Canyon that has the Colorado River running through it. We're starting off at Grand Canyon National Park. Kilo Golf Charlie November is the ICAO. And initially, by the way, I picked up Flight Tampa, Las Vegas. My initial plan was to start off at Grand Canyon National Park Airport and actually fly west along the canyon, pretty much at you know, skimming the Colorado River the entire way, all the way to Las Vegas, and then actually fly through the urban canyon, if you will, of Las Vegas. I figured that'd be an awesome trip, but unfortunately, I'm having a whole bunch of issues with stuttering in the sim with all the recent updates. So I've noticed that if I go west along the canyon at low level, the stutters are unbearable, and you certainly wouldn't want to see that during a stream. However, if you go east, it's a bit of a shorter trip, still about 25-30 minutes. It's pretty much stutter-free for the most part, so I figured we'd go east instead. So we're going to start off at Grand Canyon National Park Airport. We're going to head over the Colorado River there, and we're just going to follow the Colorado River at super low level all the way up Marble Canyon there, and we'll exit the canyon at the Glen Canyon Dam, and we'll bring it to land at Page, Arizona. Kilo Papa Golf Alpha. Should be a ton of fun. And of course, I'll be on the West US server in multiplayer in case you want to fly along. You're more than welcome to. Adam Barzak, how's it going? Devinch, how's it going? Como está to you, Devinch? Thanks for hanging out tonight. Absolutely, I'm probably going to be doing at least 250 knots in the canyon. That's my goal. So that's what I'm planning on tonight. Before we actually hop in the sim here, let me ask you a quick question, everybody. Does everybody know what... You see this blue box? This blue box around the Grand Canyon National Park with the blue rectangles on the inside of the blue borders there? Does everybody know what that is? In case you don't know what that is, let me give you a hint. If I go east to Washington, D.C., and if I zoom in over our nation's capital, you'll notice that exact same line there. Instead of a box now, it's actually more of a circle with those same blue rectangles or blue boxes on the inside of the border there. So can anybody guess what that is? What that is actually, what kind of airspace that signifies we're flying through tonight over Grand Canyon National Park? And I lost my bearings. Where is Grand Canyon? There it is. Exactly, Adam. You can't fly below a certain level. Well, technically, it's actually a SFRA. So SFRA, or Special Flight Rules Area, these are very, very special, specially designated protected airspace within the U.S. And you require like special training in order to be able to enter SFRAs in the U.S. So a long, long time ago, I actually did the SFRA training in order to fly VFR into DC, this area. And it's super restricted, obviously, in DC with all that protected airspace and, you know, the incredibly sensitive sites you have in that area. In fact, there's actually a part of the SFRA you can't enter at all unless you actually have an aircraft that's based at one of the airports within what's called the freeze in there. But essentially, this is a less restrictive SFRA over the Grand Canyon National Park. And you require like special training and special permission in order to be able to enter. And there's certain altitudes at which you cannot enter at all. So that's what that signifies exactly. Boy, where is the Grand Canyon? I keep losing it. Okay, there it is. Okay, so anyway, our plan is to, in violation of God and man and all that's holy and all that is FARs here, we're just going to fly right into the SFRA here, and we're going to fly super low level, basically just skimming the tops of the rapids here as we fly over the majestic Colorado River towards the northeast, towards Marble Canyon, and we'll exit at the Glen Canyon Dam. Should be a ton of fun. All right, let's hop back in the sim tonight. Blim Blim, how's it going? Restricted, exactly. That's right. Absolutely, we're spawning at Kilo Golf Charlie November. That's the airport tonight. Let me change the sim time here. We'll go back to about, let's say about 5, something like that, p.m. Give me a second here. There we go. Okay. And I actually need to sign into multiplayer. Give me a second here to do that, folks. Let me just go back to the Chrome window. And I'm very quickly going to hop online. On multiplayer. Give me 1 second to do that. Boy, where is that? Boy, I gotta tell you, you spend a week away from, or you spend a little bit of time away from the sim and you forget where all the settings are. Okay, so I just turned on multiplayer, there we go. Okay, so hopefully, if you spawn in at Grand Canyon, you should be able to see me. And if you got a copy of the Corsair or whatever you want to fly along in, you're more than welcome to. We'll be on multiplayer. You know, I do ask that you avoid swooping and stuff like that, because it's gonna be a little nuts, obviously, navigating the canyon, and the last thing you want is, like, folks kind of distracting by jumping in front of you in the middle of the canyon. But other than that, you know, you're more than welcome to fly along in anything you want and have a bit of fun. Let me catch up on chat here. Joe was saying you agree about the supercharger. Absolutely, Joe. I do think it's a bit of a tragedy. You know, that being said, Joe, I've never tried the supercharger in prepared. So, by the way, the supercharger, for those of you who are wondering, that's this knob right here, the little black knob that I'm moving right now. That's the supercharger, and unfortunately, Milviz has not modeled this due to the limitations they said of MSFS as of right now. The thing is, I can't remember if it was modeled in P3D or not, but I was thinking for the price of like $40, you know, I did get like a nice $5 discount, which wasn't that much, but still, you know, even for 35 bucks, I felt like, boy, I can't believe they didn't model that. Because the Spitfire had that modeled. But anyway, I think we're all ready to go here. Of course, this was a carrier-based aircraft, right? In case you can't tell. It's so cool. The wings can actually fold. And the Corsair, of course, is super famous for having these inverted gull wings that are super distinctive. By the way, just to give you an idea of how well this is modeled, this is incredibly well modeled. I mean, look at all the detail inside the wing folding mechanism there. Look at that. I mean, that is incredibly well modeled. I think you can actually see into the cowl flap area, and just gonna modify my settings here a little bit so I'm not jumping around too much in drone camera view. But if you look inside the engine there, it's like a double WASP engine. So it's actually an 18-cylinder engine. It's got 9 cylinders up front, another 9 in the back. This was one hell of a powerful engine. It's an incredibly powerful engine, and we're going to have a ton of fun putting this airplane through its paces today. All right, let's go ahead and start up. We'll get going before we lose too much daylight here. Adam, are you saying you're going to load up in the sim? Absolutely, you're more than welcome to fly along. Absolutely, Alex, you're more than welcome to. Anybody who wants to fly along, you can find us somewhere between Grand Canyon and Page, Arizona, along the Marble Canyon, if you join in later. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and turn on the, put the fuel tank on the reserve tank. I think that's what you start on and use on the ground at least. And let's go ahead and turn on the battery here. So battery coming on, there we go. And obviously, whoops, massive stutter there, that sucked. But obviously, you know, big radial engine, you need a lot of cooling. What I'm going to do is I'm going to operate the hydraulic hand pump there in order to build up some hydraulic pressure, and then we'll go ahead and open up the cowl flaps. And we'll open up the oil cooler flaps as well while we're at it. So there's those massive cowl flaps opening up front. And we're just going to open it all the way for the engine start there. And hey, look at that. How amazing is that? We got another Corsair flying along with us tonight. Oh, I love that marine livery, by the way. That livery, I believe, was sported by the famous Baba Black Sheep Squadron, VF 214, you know, Marine Squadron based in Guadalcanal, sorry, if I'm not mistaken. I think they were part of the Solomon Islands campaign back in World War II. But anyway, and of course, the subject of the very famous TV show about Pappy Boyington, right, back in the 70s. Okay, cowl flaps all the way open. Let's go ahead and prime the engine here. So I'm going to get the fuel pump on. There we go. You can hear the fuel pump running. Let's get the mags to both. There. Oops. Boy, I hate the zoom function on the mouse. And let's go ahead and prime the engine. So we'll prime it for 5 seconds. Going to move the mixture forward slightly. There we go. 2, 1, and turn off the prime. And let's go ahead and start up. I'm going to turn off the fuel pump as well so we don't flood the engine. And let's go ahead and zoom out a little bit here so we can hear this wonderful radial engine starting up. Okay, starter engaged. Stick full back. And as the engine comes to life there, I'm going to go move the mixture into the auto ridge position. There we go. Oh man, I love the sound of this old radial engine coming to life. That is an amazing sound. Okay, gonna idle at about 1,000 RPM there. Back off the throttle a little bit so we can bring it back to idle. There we go. Guard the starter switch. Nice. And we'll take a look at the oil pressure, obviously. Should have done that earlier. Good oil pressure, fuel pressure is obviously good. And cylinder head temperature's coming up, oil temp's coming up. Yeah, we're doing great here. All right. By the way, who's flying along with us in the other Corsair? Is that Joe? Welcome, Joe. Thanks for flying along. All right, let's go ahead and unlock the, or fold the wings, rather. Unfold the wings. Unfold the wings. So we'll go ahead and unfold those wings. Oops. There we go. Oh, man. I just love this. That looks amazing. And of course, you got a little tab there that'll show you when the wings are locked in place, or when the wings are down in place. And we'll go ahead and lock those wings. Fantastic. And before we taxi out here, let me go ahead and set my trims. I want to set 6 degrees right rudder trim. Require a lot of trim with the tremendous amount of torque that 2,000 horsepower engine produces during our takeoff roll. So 6 degrees right on the aileron, and 6 degrees right on the yaw damp, or sorry, on the yaw, or the rudder rather, and 1 degrees up on the elevator, and that should be good enough. Okay, we're all trimmed out here. Dr. Mousebrain8, how's it going? Dr. Mousebrain8 says, surprised how good that cockpit looks. You actually have a Goodyear Corsair, the Warbird Museum you volunteered. That is awesome, Mousebrain. You know, I've seen Corsairs like up close and personal at Oshkosh a fair number of times, and I just can't get over just how massive these airplanes are. I mean, they are massive. You know, it's super hard to get a sense for the scale of these birds just looking at these models, but these are massive, massive airplanes for sure. Out of curiosity, what museum do you volunteer at? I love warbirds, and that's super cool that you actually get to volunteer around some of these old amazing old birds in museums. Okay, let's go ahead and taxi out here. All right. Make sure my tail wheel is not locked. There we go. We're good. Okay, I'm just going to do my run-up once my oil temps come up here. I'm just going to hold short of 2-1 here. And it looks like the winds are out of the northeast there, if I'm not mistaken. So we're going to have a crosswind from the right. And if I'm not mistaken, it's going to be a bit of a gusting crosswind too, which should make the takeoff super interesting. Like all other tailwheel airplanes, by the way, in MSFS, unfortunately, the Milviz Corsair suffers from a lot of the same bugs. So the ground handling is not at all like a real tailwheel airplane, unfortunately. Boy, I got to take a screenshot here. That looks amazing. Love these Corsairs. But the ground handling it's not as bad as a Spitfire or the Waco, but it's still really, really bad modeling for a tailwheel airplane. So unfortunately, I still have to do this. I still have to hold rudder when I'm taking off in order to keep the airplane going straight. And not only will it not ground loop if I hold rudder during the takeoff roll, it will actually stay straight, or you actually need to hold in rudder to stay straight, which is ridiculous and blows my mind coming from real-world tailwheel experience. But anyway, it's something we have to deal with, unfortunately. Okay, let's do our run-up flows here. Hand chuck pump valve into the flight position, and let's go check our oil temperature. Oil temperature is looking good. Make sure the oil cooler flap is fully open. Intercooler flap can be left closed because we're not going to be using the superchargers today, obviously. All right, let's go ahead and do our run-up. So I'm going to go up to about, trying to remember, about 3,000 RPM. No, not 3,000. It can't be that high. You know, I'm going to go up to like 2,500 RPM. I think that should be good enough. I need to look at the actual POH. By the way, speaking of which, so mag check. Speaking of which, I do have an old copy of a POH from way back in the day that I want to give you a link to. Give me a second here to find that real quick, because if you're looking to fly this by the numbers, by the book, from an actual F4U POH way back in the day as opposed to just the Milviz copy, let me find you a link to that real quick. So let me go ahead and pull that up. F4U POH. By the way, I don't really see much of an RPM drop when I did the mag check. Let me do that again real quick. Dr. Mousebrain says, really good museum, CAF Airbase, Georgia. Awesome. Commemorative Air Base, commemorative Air Force Base, Air Force Air Base, Georgia. It's an awesome, although you haven't been there recently since you go to college out of state. Really good museum. It's definitely worth the trip if you're near Kilo Foxtrot Charlie. Awesome, Dr. Mousebrain 8. I'm gonna have to look that up. What airport is that, out of curiosity? Is that in the Atlanta area? You know, I'm not really seeing much of an RPM drop. I mean, that obviously you saw a drop because I went the max both off. But I'm not really seeing much of a RPM drop on the mag check there, which is unfortunate. Let's see if the carb heat does anything. Not really. Yeah. I mean, I do love the sound of it and all that. Oh boy, I gotta be super careful though with the run-up, because if you notice, my cylinder head temperatures are now almost at a red line, so I gotta let this thing cool down a little bit here. So give me a second to do that real quick. Sorry folks, I know I'm keeping you waiting. I just want to get you a copy to the pilot's manual here for the F4U. Just loading this up. I'm gonna get you a link in chat. There we go. So that's a link, I think, to like an original copy, or actually a reproduction of the pilot's manual for the F4U Corsair. It was reproduced, I think, in 1977, but it's really, really good. It's worth checking out for sure. Atlanta Regional, says Dr. Mousebrain 8, about a 30-minute drive south of Hartsfield. Awesome. That's super cool. You know, it's super good on you, by the way, that you volunteer for the Commemorative Air Force. That's something I would love to do. I would just love to do. Alright, I'm kind of waiting on those cylinder head temperatures to drop, because I feel like if I try to take off right now, that I may blow the engine. By the way, one of the cool things they've modeled, which I haven't had a chance to check out yet, is they've actually modeled the oil just being blown out of the engine if you overheat it, and completely covering the windscreen, which obviously is not ideal. So that's the reason I'm holding off on taking off right now, because I want that oil temp to drop a little bit, or the cylinder head temp to drop a little bit before we give it a go here. But let me show you the pilot's manual here real quick, because this is worth a quick look-see. All right, so this is the PDF that I just sent you a link to in chat. Pilot's manual for the F4U Corsair. It's a reproduction from 1977, I think, but it's got a lot of very, very useful info in here. I mean, some of this stuff doesn't exactly correspond in terms of the layout of the instruments and the switches, etc., to the Milviz version of the Corsair, but it's still, you know, good enough that I've noticed I can actually just directly use this POH and the procedures that are in the POH, with the exception of the supercharger related stuff, to do my checklist and things like that. So it's super useful, worth the look-see. Strongly recommend it. All right, awesome. Let's check on those cylinder head temps here. Hopefully they're low enough that we're ready to depart. I think they've dropped enough. Let's get going here. All right. Just gonna line up, then we'll lock the tail wheel, make sure our trims are set properly, and we'll depart. This is runway 21, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, that's the one. And let's take a look at that windsock real quick. There's a windsock back there, and another one over there. You know, yeah, we're gonna have a right crosswind, it looks like, so I'm gonna make sure to get my ailerons hard over, or get my stick hard over into the wind there. During the initial part of the takeoff roll, at least. I've noticed this particular add-on does tend to reward you if you get in your crosswind correction. So I'm going to go my crosswind correction like that. At least that's what the windsock is telling me I need to do. Let me zoom in real quick on the windsock. Yeah, I think that's going to work. All right, awesome. Okay, let's do our takeoff check here. Reserve tank is selected. Cowl flaps, I want to set about 2/3 open there, so I'm going to bring them in a little bit. There we go, that should be good enough. Trim set, 6 degrees right aileron, 6 degrees right rudder, 1 degree up on the nose. Wing is unfolded and locked in position. Mixture in auto rich, and flaps. Let's set 20 degrees flaps for takeoff. 1 notch, 2 notches. Hold on, let me check. 1, 2, 20 degrees. Okay, that should be good. All right, ready to go? Let's go. That should be a ton of fun. So we're going to take off. We're going to turn to the right, and you can feel free to take off with me, by the way, if you'd like. You don't have to hold. You don't have to hold off on me there, Joe, or whoever else is flying along. You can take off with me. Okay, here we go. I'm going to gently walk the throttle forward to about. Hold on, 1 second. 1 second. I forgot something. Tail wheel lock. Does tend to help locking that tail wheel, I've noticed. Okay, that should be good. Okay, tail wheel is locked, and let's get going. Then gently walk the throttle forward to about 50 inches manifold pressure there. There we go. I'm gonna hold stick full back until about 55, 60 knots, something like that. And then let the tail wheel come up. I'm gonna try and keep the airplane going straight here. It's super squarely on the ground. Once again, the ground handling in MSFS is just terrible, especially when it comes to tail wheel airplanes. But there we go. We're airborne. Gear can come up. Let's get in a notch of flaps. And let's bring the flaps all the way up. And let's back off the throttle to about 44 inches of manifold pressure and 25-50 RPM. And that should be good right there. Awesome. All right, we're going to turn right here and head for the Grand Canyon. And I got to tell you, I love the sound of that engine. Really do. All right. So we're going to head for the north rim of the canyon there. And then we'll head right into the Colorado River. And have fun. Hopefully not actually in the Colorado River, but skimming right over the river I think should be good enough. Okay. Gonna keep an eye, like a close eye, on those cylinder head temps and the oil temps during the flight to make sure we don't overheat the engine and blow all the oil out. Let's go ahead and close the canopy there. All right. And by the way, depending on how bad the glare is off those mirrors, I might leave the canopy open for most of our canyon run tonight. Depends on how bad the glare is off those mirrors. I've noticed you can have a ton of glare, especially the sun is right behind you. Let's see if we can get that. I'm just going to turn away from the sun and let's see if we can get the glare of the sun. It can be really, really bad. So if the glare comes in really, really bad, we'll go ahead and open the canopy. Believe it or not, the canopy can actually be left open up to about 300 knots. And I'm going to aim to be like somewhere between 250 to 300 knots the entire length of this canyon run here. Nothing like the wind in your hair at 300 knots, right? Okay, I think this is like the visitor center here, and look at that. There's the Grand Canyon there. Oh man, that is spectacular. Okay. All right, let's dive into the canyon here. Trying to trim it out as best I can, and let's go ahead and close the cowl flaps a little bit more. With the cowl flaps all the way open, by the way, you can have some buffeting of your tail feathers on this airplane. At least that's what the POH said. Okay, we'll dive into the canyon. Oh boy, you remember how I said the glare could be bad? Yeah, I'm just gonna pop the canopy open and leave it open. As long as I stay below under 300 knots, I should be okay. All right, into the canyon we go. Hey Kyle, how's it going? All right, this is gonna be a ton of fun. Alright, here we go. Now, the one thing I forgot to do, which I should be doing, is getting on some appropriate music for the super high energy run down the Grand Canyon, right? So give me a second to pull that up real quick. I just need to find a nice straight here before I can change my music. By the way, in case the stream starts stuttering or anything, just let me know. I haven't had any issues recently, but at least with going down this part of the canyon. But in case there are any stuttering issues with the stream, let me know. You never know with MSFS. All right. Let's pull up some appropriate music here for the occasion. If we can. 1 second. Adam, no worries. Whatever you feel you can use to keep up, you're more than welcome to. We're just having some fun. What in the real world would be totally illegal flying down the Grand Canyon, right? That's all we're doing. Oh man, this is gorgeous. Okay, hold on 1 second, folks. I'm just gonna go into like active pause there for just a quick second. I meant to change the music and get on a more appropriate playlist. There we go. I think that's better. All right. And thankfully, active pause didn't do too much damage. All right, there we go. Absolutely says you're in the extra. Yeah, this is a pretty fast airplane, you know, I should have warned you guys. I'm doing 280 knots right now, believe it or not. You know, I'm not anywhere near red line. This was what, I think when it came out, this was the fastest production fighter that the U.S. Armed Forces had back then. Either this or the P-51. But I remember hearing at least that this was the first fighter that could exceed 400 knots, you know, back in the day when it came out, which is pretty impressive. It's an amazing airplane for sure. Oh man, I'm loving this. And you can actually, every once in a while, catch a glimpse of our shadow along the riverbank or on the river. You see the shadow right in front of me there? That's super cool. And there's my shadow right there. I promise you the canyon's going to get a lot more narrow and steep-sided the further northeast we get here. This is just sort of a warm-up right here, right? By the way, what are the audio volumes like for all of you? Let me know if they're too high, too low, whatever, and I can adjust accordingly. All right, let's see where everybody is. I'm not sure if people have caught up to me or what. Oh, I see Joe and the other Corsair behind me. Look at that. These airplanes are so unmistakable, right? With those distinctive gull wings. All right. Oh man, I'm loving this. So we're just gonna do this. There's absolutely the extra below me. We're just gonna do this for the next 25 minutes until we get to the Glen Canyon Dam. Should be a ton of fun. So I gotta tell you, this is surprisingly not stressful at all. By the way, the river's forking there. You want to make a left of the fork. But this is surprisingly not stressful at all. In fact, this is kind of very, very surprisingly, it's almost kind of contemplative. It's an almost meditative experience doing this. Like, I could just do this all day. It's very, very relaxing, believe it or not. And this is just the warm-up portion, by the way. It's going to get a lot more intense the further up the canyon we get, because it's going to get more narrow and steep-sided. Dr. Mousebrain 8 says it was about the only thing you could chase down the zero when it entered. The only thing that could chase down the zero when it entered service. Yeah, that is totally true. You know, I gotta tell you, I hope that Milviz or other developers consider bringing more naval aircraft from back in World War II, that era, to MSFS. Like, a couple of aircraft I would really love to see are the Bearcat and the Hellcat. You know, those are aircraft that have not gotten a lot of love in prior simming platforms. And I would just absolutely love to see someone do a good Bearcat or Hellcat. You know, the Corsair, because it was so distinctive, right, it gets a lot of the glory. But it really was, and Dr. Mousebrain, you know, given that you actually worked at a museum that had, or volunteered at a museum that had these birds, you probably know way more than I do, so feel free to correct me or jump in with additional info that could be useful. But the Corsair was really a late World War II era fighter. You know, I think it really started being used in service like late 1943, maybe 1944, if I'm not mistaken. You know, it did see a ton of action, and it was and the pilots that flew the Corsairs were incredibly, you know, well decorated, obviously. But I feel like the Bearcat and Hellcat, maybe, like especially in the case of the Bearcat, right? If you look at things like the Battle of Midway, etc., they obviously, because they were used earlier in the war, saw more use back then. But anyway, it's a wonderful plane to fly, though, for sure. I've done a couple of carrier traps, believe it or not, using the freeware carrier mod that they have for MSFS and kinetic assistance, catapult and arrestor functionality, and that's a ton of fun in this airplane for sure. Oh man, I'm loving this. I gotta tell you, I'm just loving this. This is some amazingly fun stick and rudder flying. Yeah, absolutely. A good zero would be a ton of fun as well to see in the sim. Dr. Mousebrain 8 says, Bearcat and Tiger Cat are top of your list. Absolutely. Dr. Mousebrain, if I remember correctly, the Tiger Cat was the F8F, right? Or so the Bearcat, if I remember correctly, was the F4F. What was it? The Hellcat was the F6F, and the Tiger Cat came after that, right? Was that the F8F, or did I get that completely mixed up? I might have, I don't know. But boy, I gotta tell you, I'm really, really enjoying this. This is super fun. I hope you're both doing okay back there, Joe and Absolutely, and Adam in the TVM. By the way, Adam, I'm not sure if you had the platform MSFS the last time we chatted to you on stream, but how are you liking it if you just picked it up recently? Oh man, this is amazing. I'm really, really shocked I have not crashed yet. But as I said, this is just not stressful at all, believe it or not. It's an almost meditative experience for me. You know, it's like practicing the art of mindfulness, right? It's very, very zen, believe it or not. It's very, very zen. Believe it or not, we still have another probably 60 miles of this. 50 to 60 miles before we get to the Glen Canyon Dam. There we go, Dr. Mousebrain, thank you. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Don't want to crash, don't want to crash. By the way, how many people in chat know what an accelerated stall is? We almost had one there. And I love how the buffet is modeled, you know, even with accelerated stalls. There was a bit of a buffet there indicating I was right on the edge of a stall. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Okay, that was slightly stressful. Stress level is growing slightly. Oh, did I have those mixed up there, Dr. Mousebrain? Thank you, much appreciated. Yeah, I would listen to you. Especially since you don't have a handful, you don't have 2,000 horsepower, 2,000 horses to deal with at the moment, as you're screaming through a canyon. As you're screaming through the Grand Canyon. Oh man, I'm loving this though. Oh no, it's not spam at all there, Dr. Mousebrain. Thanks for organizing it that way. Much appreciated. Adam says you haven't flown the TBM before, so that might be an impediment. A slight impediment. You know, there's always the old Control E trick. You know, that works in real life too, by the way. So the Control E trick in real life consists of looking at your instructor with puppy dog eyes and basically saying, no, I can't, I don't know what I'm doing. Can you please demonstrate this for me, right? That's the Control E functionality that you find in real life. So just look at the sim with puppy dog eyes, pleadingly, and press Control plus E at the same time, and that'll solve all your problems for you. That's right, Dr. Mousebrain. Slightly less distracted. Oh man, I'm loving this though, I gotta tell you. This is so much fun. And by the way, I haven't looked at the turn coordinator once. Let me know how good of a job I've been doing about staying coordinated in my turns. Probably not the best. Or maybe I am, I don't know. Oh man, I'm loving this though. We're doing 300 knots. right about the top of the Colorado River, through Marble Canyon right now. This is freaking amazing. There you go, Adam. That works. Devin says you're still flying Cessnas at no more than 120 knots, so this is a hell of a ride. Devin, why don't you fly along with us? Oh wait, I'm not sure if you've got the sim, but if you did, you're more than welcome to. Or you would be more than welcome to if you did. Oh man, I'm loving this. So I was recently watching a documentary, by the way, about a couple of buddies, not buddies of mine, but you know, two people who are buddies with each other, on National Geographic. Both of them, I think, were like photojournalists, and they decided to set off on a hike that very few people in real life have attempted and completed, which is to walk the entire length of the Grand Canyon, from one end of the Grand Canyon all the way to the other in one go. And apparently they started there's Adam in the TBM there. They started, and on day one, I think, they realized just how arduous it was. You know, their shoes were tearing apart, and they just gave up on day one. They said, no, we can't do it all in one go. So instead, they decided to break it up into chunks, and they decided to tackle a third of the Grand Canyon at a time. And it took them over a year, I think, or about a year. Oh boy, we got a bridge up there. Hopefully we don't run into that bug that we have in the sim. Yeah, there was a little bit of that bug there. This sim does not handle folks flying under bridges very well. But those two photojournalist buddies that I mentioned in the Nat Geo documentary, they walked the entire length of the Grand Canyon, broken up into chunks of a third apiece, over the course of a year. And boy, that just looked like an amazingly good time. You know, super challenging, like super difficult, but it just looked incredibly rewarding, you know? And it's such a beautiful place too in real life. All right. So we got a full horseshoe bend here. This is like a full-blown U-turn that the Colorado River makes as it snakes its way up to the northeast here. Oh man, look at this. This is so much fun. Sorry folks, I'm doing a terrible job of catching up on chat, especially longer sentences, because every time I try to glance and read a sentence, I gotta get my eyes back inside the cockpit, right? And then by the time I look back, I've already forgotten what I read the last time I glanced at my chat. Give me a second here. Absolutely says flying the TBM. Wondered why you had such bad performance and your gear was down. Okay. Oh boy, tight turn here, tight turn, tight turn. I've noticed this thing is super twitchy in pitch, and I just can't seem to get it trimmed properly. But I'm mostly flying with my fingertips right now, except right here. But I'm mostly flying with my fingertips, which is a ton of fun. Oh man. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. I have no idea how I didn't crash there. That was cutting it, that was shaving it super close. Literally shaving it super close. I'm pretty sure we trimmed some of the cacti that were growing at the bottom of the canyon there. You know, I'm going to be super impressed if I do this entire run without once going below 250 knots. Oh man, I'm sorry to hear about that, absolutely. That's why we have slew mode, right? Okay, here we are, folks. There's the Glen Canyon Dam. Look at that. Oh my god, that was fun. Oh my god, was that fun or what? Journey's End. So this is Lake Powell, by the way, on the eastern end of the Grand Canyon, and you've got Lake Mead on the western end before you get to like Las Vegas. Okay, there's Page, Arizona below us. Oh my god, I just realized something. I forgot to switch to the main tank. Good thing we didn't exhaust all the fuel on the reserve tank. But in either case, I think in real life you would use the reserve tank for maneuvers like this anyway. So not the biggest deal, I suppose. Let's see how much fuel we burned on the reserve, though. Most of it. Alright, we're going to be switching back to the reserve tank anyway for the approach and landing here. I'm just overflying the field here to see what the windsock is doing. I think we're going to land on 2.5 quite likely. Where is the windsock? There it is. Okay. But I'm having a super hard time reading it there. Okay, we're gonna have a left crosswind. Oh, right crosswind. Actually, never mind. But we're gonna land on 1.5. We're gonna land on 1.5. We're gonna have a right crosswind, and we're gonna land on 1.5. Adam, no worries at all. Dr. Mousebrain says, not gonna lie, this is making you want to download MSFS again. But right now your SSD is full with DCS. You know, I gotta tell you, Dr. Mousebrain, I'm super shocked that DCS does not have a Corsair yet. Like, that is a hole that needs to be fixed, right? I'm super surprised they don't have more old school, you know, World War II carrier operations models. But that would be super cool to see. I haven't touched DCS in months, to be honest. That's something I need to get back into. Like, when I did a couple of carrier traps although I'm not really sure I can describe it as a proper carrier trap because of the limitations of the sim and the mods I was using. When I tried a couple of carrier traps in this thing, in MSFS, I was super eager to get back into the Hornet in DCS and give that a shot. Whoops, hold on. I want to get below 200 knots, then I can drop the gear. Okay, mixture coming full forward. Let's get some drag. Although I'm not sure prop drag is simulated super well. Okay, below 200 knots, gear coming down. And let's get the flaps down a couple of notches there. These flaps, by the way, apparently have a blowback system, which is kind of cool. So, the flaps actually have a blowback system to protect overspeeding the flaps, which is really, really neat and cool when you think about it, because this is a World War II era fighter. Raptor Aviation, how's it going? Raptor, you should watch the VOD just now. We had a ton of fun just flying the entire, well, flying about a third of the length of the Grand Canyon from Grand Canyon National Park Airport all the way here to the Glen Canyon Dam. Alright, so I'm going to go flaps 30, and I'm just going to do a wheel landing. You know, we don't need a full flaps 50 landing. We're just going to do a wheel landing here on 1.5. Boy, I really stretched this pattern out or stretched my downwind out way too much there. But thanks for hanging out with us there, Raptor. Yeah, totally, absolutely. The turboprop logic is a mess. It's a hot mess in Misfits. It is a hot mess. I cannot stand the turboprop logic. Misfits, the only sim in the world that has actually I'm not sure if the other sims have the same problem, but Misfits, you know, where ITT goes up with altitude. Correction, torque goes up with altitude and ITT goes down with altitude. Just the way it's supposed to be, apparently. Oh boy, I hope they get that fixed sometime soon, though. Okay, here we go. 3-point landing, or sorry, wheel landing coming in, 2-point landing. Sorta. 1-point landing and a crosswind. There we go. Gonna pin the wheels to the ground, push the stick forward slightly, let the airplane lose speed. Gonna keep it going straight, and once I'm sufficiently slowed down, I'm gonna go ahead and get the tail down. Boy, it just wants to swerve. Whoop, whoop, come on. Behave, behave. All right, that worked out relatively well. Besides the wing strike, it worked out decently well. All right, let's open those cowl flaps all the way there. Go back to the main tank. And I'm just going to go ahead and backtrack here. I think I saw a taxiway right behind me. Dr. Bounce Brain, absolutely. I got to do a DCS stream or a DCS video at some point. I've been meaning to get back into DCS for a while. Is everybody down on the ground? Oh, there's, not sure who that is. I forgot to turn on name tags. Oh, look at that. That's either Adam or absolutely with a low pass there. Oh man, this was a ton of fun. Thanks for flying along, you guys. Really enjoy this. Alright, we'll hop in the heli here, and we'll have some fun flying around the Bay Area. Okay, we're just gonna park right next to this hangar here, I think. That should be good enough. And I'm sure you all want to see those wingtips fold, right? I want to see them fold. Okay. Alright, here we go. Alright, let's go ahead and shut down here. Make sure to cut off. Ah, I hate that. That logbook is just totally annoying. Make sure to idle cut off. Max off. And, ooh, totally forgot to... Do I need... can I fold the wingtips without the engine? I don't think I can. I was trying to work the hydraulic... Oh, hold on. Working the hydraulic hand pump there. Let's see if that works. Nope, it's not gonna work. Hold on. I'm just gonna do Control E here. Sorry, folks. Immersion ruined for a second just because I want to get those... I want to get the wings folded there. You know what? Never mind. I'm not sure this is really going to work anyway. Adam says you're still a ways out. No worries, Adam. It's going to take me a while here to sort things out anyway. Give me a second. Fuel pump. Primer. Going to turn that sound down a little bit on the music. There's Joe A, I think, in the other Corsair. There he is. Look at that. We'll watch Joe land. I'm going to do the Control-E trick again. I just want to see those wingtips fold. There's Joe. Just landed. Nice job. Although he kind of... Not sure what happened there. But I love the look of these Corsairs, man, I gotta tell you. Let's go. Oh, I know why. I know why. It helps to have your fuel tank selected the main or reserve. There we go. Now it should start up. Pro pilot here, folks. There we go. Engine started finally. All right. Now we can do that. Let's get that fuel pump off. Okay, wingtip fold or wings folded. Let's go ahead and lock them, and let's go ahead and shut down the engine once again, rather. There we go. Engine shutting down, and let's get the mags off. There we go. Fuel tank off. Fuel tank selector off, rather, and main battery master off. Okay, there we go. All shut down, I think. So, do I have anything else on here? Nope. It's all shut down. Awesome. Alright, just gonna wait on... Why did the canopy close on me? I had to leave that open. Just gonna wait on Joe to come in there in the other Corsair. And once we're all together, we'll go ahead and load up in the VTOL Airbus, and we'll do a little helipad hunting in the Bay Area. So how many of you, by the way, in chat have had a chance to play around with the Media Hype Train freeware Airbus 135? I love how it actually comes up on its wheels, on its mains, when you apply heavy braking. I was reading up some literature on, pilot experiences on how this airplane behaves in real life, and that's actually pretty accurate. You got to be super ginger on the brakes because it's super easy to nose over with that incredibly heavy radial engine. And I love this livery, man, I gotta tell you. VMF 214, that's what it was. Marine Fighter Squadron. Alright, this was super fun. Alright, there's absolutely... and I'm not sure where Adam is. It's probably a ways out. Alright, I'm gonna quickly here take a screenshot. Alright folks, just in order to keep things going, and I do apologize, Adam, we're gonna load up in San Jose Airport, Kilo Sierra Juliet Charlie, in the Airbus 135, and if you don't have that, by the way, there's a link in chat, or sorry, a link in the description below the video you're watching right now, in order to pick that up. Overhead the airport right now. Awesome. Okay, we'll watch Adam land, and then we'll go ahead and hop in the helicopters, and we'll have a little fun. We'll have a little fun flying around the Bay Area, searching for helipads. Believe it or not, by the way, the photogrammetry data in MSFS, as awful as it looks sometimes up close, it does have landable helipads everywhere. Like, it's impressive just how many landable helipads there are. And so we're gonna hunt around for a few of those, like helipads, medical helipads at hospitals in the Bay Area. All right, folks. Joe, that was a ton of fun. That was pretty intense for sure. All right, folks. Let me go ahead and pull up the iPad once again. Give me a second here. Oops. That one. There we go. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and load up in the sim as well. So we'll talk about what we're about to do here in a hot second. Just give me a moment here to set things up. That is awesome, absolutely. That is fantastic. This was real life, I'm assuming. That is super cool. Okay, let's go to some more chill music there while we're talking about our game plan. Actually, before I go back to... one second. So, obviously, we were at the Grand Canyon. So now let's go over to San Francisco, the Bay Area. We're going to load up at San Jose International, Kilo Sierra Juliet Charlie. And let me show you where I'm loading up here in just a hot second. So... give me 1 second here. Euro... God, I hate the search system when you're looking for aircraft and liveries. It's just not very well done at all. Okay, I'm going to load up in the CalStar medical livery. If you're wondering how to get that, this is an actual sort of like medical helicopter livery for medevac, you know, patient transport, things like that. It's an actual medevac livery that's used by helicopters to fly around the Bay Area. CalStar Medical, and I've got the link in the description below to where to find this livery and everything. So we're going to load up at San Jose Airport, Kilo Sierra Juliet Charlie. And you know what? Give me a second here to show you what I'm up to. So I've got San Jose Airport scenery from Orbx, which works really, really well for me. And I'm going to load up, I think, right here, pretty close to... I think Signature, or Atlantic Aviation is around here somewhere, so we'll load up there. I'm going to set the time to like around 6 p.m., something like that, about an hour before sunset. And let's go ahead and fly. So while that's loading up, let's go back to the charts there, and we'll talk through our game plan. Alright, so, actually, 1 second, folks. There's something else I wanted to pull up here real quick. Okay, let's go back to that. Okay, so this is a sectional, obviously. Now, if you have ForeFlight, by the way, ForeFlight will tell you exactly where all the helipads are. I'm not going to use ForeFlight because this is sort of a... this stream is sort of like a combination stream in lieu of an April Fool's stream and stream in lieu of an Easter Day stream, right? Because I haven't streamed in like 2 weeks plus, so I figured in lieu of an April Fool's Day stream and in lieu of a Easter stream, let's go ahead and combine the two, and we'll go searching for helipads in a VTOL Airbus, right? So if you have ForeFlight, you can find all the helipads. I'm not going to use ForeFlight because that's going to be a little bit of cheating. What we're going to do instead to find a bunch of helipads, we're going to find like about 5 helipads between San Jose and Palo Alto. So we'll stop at the Stanford Hospital helipad, and we'll find about 4 to 5 helipads between here and Stanford today. What we're going to do to find the helipads is we're going to go to AirNav. So if you search on Google for AirNav Helipads California, you'll find a full list of registered heliports for the state you're looking for. So if I scroll down to like San Jose, there's a few listed on here. So let's see if we can find it. There's San Jose. So there's a couple listed on here. The Regional Medical Center heliport and the County Medical Center heliport. We're going to find at least a Regional Medical Center heliport. So in order to look for this, actually, Google Maps or preferably Bing Maps, right? Because that has the data that's most in alignment with the photogrammetry data that you have in MSFS. But Google Maps works reasonably well with some limitations, right? Because obviously this stuff is very, very recent, and the stuff in MSFS is like 6 or 7 years old, I think, in this part of the world. You don't even have like the new Apple campus, like the new Apple building, Apple Park. That stuff is not modeled. So there's some stuff that's missing, but at least for the hospitals, most of the helipads are there, so that's super cool. So we're going to departing off of San Jose Airport today. We'll actually do like a hover taxi from where we're parked, which will be a ton of fun. And we'll depart on the 30s. I think 30 left we'll depart from. We'll head out over the 101 there, and we'll track the 101 until we get to, let's see, just west of like downtown San Jose. So where's downtown San Jose? There it is. There's central San Jose. So just west of central San Jose, and then we'll like hang a left and head over to like 680, and the regional medical center is right there. This should be relatively okay to spot from the air. It's not easy, but we should be able to spot it from the air. And there's the helipad right there. You see the helipad? So there's the helipad at the regional medical center. It's actually modeled exactly the way it looks for the most part. And I've been kind of reading up on this. Obviously, I've never flown a helicopter in real life, so I was going through the helicopter flying handbook and other sources to try and figure out, you know, some of the aspects of flying a helicopter. I think the way we land here is basically you align your skids with the direction of the H. I still haven't figured out what that line under the H means. I suspect it has something to do with the direction of approach versus departure. And I figured out at least that those two numbers there, the 22 and the 40 or 50, whatever that is, that's your you know, max gross in pounds, thousands of pounds, and your max rotor diameter in feet. But other than that, you know, I'm not too familiar with exactly how, exactly what, what all the nomenclature on here is telling me. But for the most part, I think what we have to do is come in to land in a direction that's lined up with that H. So that's what we'll plan on. So we'll hit up the regional medical center first, and then we'll head over 680 there. We'll just follow 680 until it becomes 280, all the way to the Santa Clara Valley Medical Center. And there's actually another helipad here that's modeled as well. So there's the helipad there at the Santa Clara Valley Medical Center. Once again, you see the H there. So that's what we're going to plan on hitting up right after this. I'm sorry, folks. I know I probably missed a ton in chat. Dr. Mousebrain8 was saying, look up the book Devotion. It's about the first African-American naval pilot, Jesse Brown, who flew Corsairs in Korea. Really, really good book. That is, I got to look that up. You know, I've heard of Jesse Brown. I think it was in the context of, I'm trying to remember, but I definitely have to look that up for sure. You know, I do remember a long time ago, by the way, now it's coming back to me. I do remember reading, you know, at least like a review off that book. And yeah, that's definitely on my list for sure. It sounded really, really like it was worth picking up and reading. Yeah, thanks for recommending that. That does sound like an incredibly good book to read for sure. You know, and that's the other amazing thing about the Corsairs, right? They did see service in the Vietnam War. Which is really, really remarkable when you think about it. That he had this fighter with like a big double WASP radial still serving in Korea long after the end of World War II. Okay, so after the Santa Clara Valley Medical Center, we'll head over to where Apple Park should be in the sim, but is really not modeled yet. And we'll head over to Kaiser Permanente, and there's another helipad there. This one's in red, and we'll land there. And after that, I think the last one that we have is pretty close to Stanford campus. Actually, it's right next to Stanford campus, Stanford Hospital. And there's actually a couple of helipads here. We're going to see that the helipad there, the one in red, is not modeled at all because I think Stanford completed construction of some of their newer buildings in 2019, and this scenery that we have in the sim is way older than that. So unfortunately, the only helipad we'll have is this one right here. But that's where I think we'll stop for the night. Assuming, you know, well, we'll see. You know, I think that's where we'll stop for the night. If we still have time and we've got the motivation after all the helipad landings we do tonight, if we still have motivation, we might head all the way up to Golden Gate and hit up the VA Medical Center there. So the VA Medical Center has a helipad there, right there, and this has like a beautiful view of Golden Gate Bridge and the Marin Headlands and everything. So that could be our final destination, but it really depends on whether or not we have time after hitting up 5 helipads in the South Bay tonight. So we'll see what happens. But anyway, that's what I got planned tonight. Hopefully, should be a fun itinerary. All right, so let's go ahead and hop in the sim here. All right, this is what we're flying. Cal Star Medical. All right, let me get live weather going here. That could be it, absolutely. I'm not sure. You know, I tried looking it up, but I couldn't find information, at least in the quick cursory Google search I was doing. I couldn't find the information I was looking for, unfortunately. All right. But yeah, that's probably it, you know. That could be it. I'm just not sure, though. I'm just not sure. All right, let's go ahead and start up here. So, by the way, this thing, I really think this is... I can't believe this is freeware, you know, honestly. For the amount of work that has been put into this mod, honestly, it could be payware level already. It's incredibly well done, and it's just impressive how well they've gotten around the limitations of MSFS to make it feel like what a helicopter should feel like. You know, not that I've ever flown a helicopter in real life, but I would imagine this is how a helicopter feels like. It handles incredibly well. Okay, let's get the battery on. I don't think that's supposed to be the battery in real life, but that's what the switch there is mapped to. And what the thing does right now, it goes through like a full, power-up check. So it does that for the next 90 seconds. So I'm going to let it do that. While it's doing that, let's get the nav light on, beacon on. Let's get the fuel pumps on. And let's take a look at the annunciations there. Yeah, you see power-up test in progress there in green at the very bottom of the annunciation display there. So it's going to do that for the next 70 to 80 seconds. So we're going to let that run. And while that's running, actually, let me show you something else here, which is kind of cool. The door is actually open on this thing. It's kind of cool. And since it's like a helicopter that's used for a lot of medevac ops, the doors and back open to allow you to put a patient inside in a stretcher or take that patient out, etc. So that's kind of cool. Okay, let's get the door closed. Absolutely, was saying, how do you map the collective? Absolutely, you got to map the collective to your throttle function. So I was reading about this. I think you cannot use throttle. Actually, I'm not sure because I only have one throttle. I've got my X52 Pro throttle, but I think if you have multiple throttle levers, right, like in your Honeycomb Bravo or whatever, you got to either map just throttle 1 or throttle. I'm not sure which one. But you can't have it mapped to multiple throttle inputs. That's what I think the story is there. Adam might be right. You know, it's been a while since I've looked at this, and I've really never had a reason to, find out what the story is there, right? So let me change the brightness of the display a little bit there. I'm going to turn that down a little bit. There we go. That's better. All right, just gonna wait on that power-up test to complete. It's still in progress, as you can see. So once that's done, I'm gonna get an annunciation that says power-up test complete or whatever. While that's going on, actually, by the way, let me show you something else here. Power-up test, okay, that's done. It's got you can even set up an EFB here. I haven't had a chance to play around with it, but it's kind of cool. Like you can actually, have an EFB, so I guess you can have like charts and stuff like that if you wanted. Obviously, in real life, this is certified for like IFR operations, right? Okay, I think we're ready for our start here. So in order to start, I'm just going to move that little yellow switch there with the red guard into the flight position. And that should start up both engines in sequence, actually. So let's go ahead and do that. There we go. Starter engaged. N1 coming up. And let's watch the rotor spin up here. The sound modeling is incredibly well done, I think. They're always improving it, too. Adam, no worries. I'm going to botch it really, really bad. You know, I have no real-world heli time at all. I really, really want to do a discovery flight in a helicopter at some point, because I see helicopters flying around all the time, right? And I've been super fascinated with them since I've been a kid. So I've been really, really interested in, at some point, taking a discovery flight in a helicopter. I'm probably never going to get my helicopter license IRL just because you know, helicopters are way more expensive on a per-hour basis than fixed-wing. And it's one of these things where if I do get my helicopter license in real life, I know I'm just never going to be using it. So it's one of these, licenses you only get for bragging rights, right? Hey, I've got a helicopter license. And that's really the only purpose it's going to serve. And I'm not one of those people, you know. I don't like the idea of getting licenses, ratings, endorsements that I'm really not going to use that much. But I would like to at least do a discovery flight. I would just absolutely love that. Okay, engine 2 starting up as well. Just gonna wait till that completely spools up. And look at that, we got somebody else flying along with us in the Northwell Medical, if I'm not mistaken. Northwell Health helicopter. Doing a relatively good job, actually, of hovering. Not bad at all. Once the engine is fully... Okay, it's spooled out. Nice. Okay. Awesome. Okay. Let's get the pitot heats on there. I think it's up here. There we go. And, yeah, I think we're all good. Ready to taxi. Awesome. Okay, let me very quickly here turn on name tags. Give me 1 second, folks. Data... oops. Traffic. Traffic nameplates. That way, we at least have a sense of who everybody is, right? And by the way, I've noticed whenever I turn on nameplates recently, that causes all kinds of weird stuttering issues. So if you see stuttering issues at any point, let me know, and I'll turn those back off. And actually, I just realized something, which is the problem with nameplates is you see everybody else in this area, which is kind of popular. So I think Adam Barzak is over there in the other helicopter. Absolutely, there is no FADEX switch in the latest... there is no FADEX switch in the latest version, 0.8.3 or whatever it is. Just move one of the flight idle switches into flight, and in order to move it, you just have to scroll it up. You have to scroll up or scroll down to turn it on or turn it off, and that will turn on the engines and control the FADEC and everything at the same time. I think that's the way it's done, with the most recent version, at least. The flight model, okay, I'm not sure actually. Absolutely, do you might want to look through the go to flightsim.to, the page for this mod, and I think if you go under frequently asked questions, you will find a list of commands that you want to make sure are not assigned to anything, because maybe you have that automatically cycling for whatever reason. Oh, you had your collective full. By the way, that's the other thing to remember. Make sure you cycle your collective all the way up and down before you start the engine. Apparently, you're supposed to do that for whatever reason. Okay, awesome, folks. So what we're going to do is pretty straightforward. Adam's doing an amazing job of hovering there, it looks like. We're just going to hop over into the movement area, hop over onto that taxiway there, and we'll just follow that taxiway to runway 30 left. Then we'll depart on 30 left. Let's go ahead and do that. All right, here we go. So, oh, by the way, the other nice thing about the most recent version of the mod is you can actually see the animations on the cyclic, the anti-torque pedals, and the collective. So that's kind of cool. Now, I'm only pointing that out because I'm wondering, you remember how the last time we did a stream in the Spitfire, I had my joystick visualizer up? If anybody wants to see that up, in addition to what you can already see with the animations of the cyclic and the pedals, let me know. But I think this should be good enough, hopefully. All right, let's go. Okay, gonna raise the collective gently. Gonna start getting in some anti-torque already. And there we go, we're airborne. Okay, I'm gonna let the torque do its thing here and, whoops, and turn me around. Okay, there we go. Just gonna hop on this taxiway here. I'm gonna try and keep myself moving at a relatively slow pace, like a walking pace. Hey, there's Joe A in the other helicopter. Awesome. Welcome, Joe. Thanks for flying along with us in the Corsair, by the way, earlier. That was super cool to see. Like 2 Corsairs in formation running the Grand Canyon. That was a ton of fun. Okay, just gonna hover taxi here. down to the whole point, or the whole short line for 30 left. So there's the whole short line. We'll just go straight there. Boy, I'm doing a terrible job. This is super fun once you get the hang of it, but I gotta tell you, it's tricky. It's really, really tricky. It's a juggling act, you know. It's a full-blown juggling act. It's like trying to stand still on, sorry, it's like trying to stay in position while you're standing on a ball, right? All right, here we go. Just gonna stop right here at the whole short line. There we go. Let's get the landing lights on and the strobes on. There we go. The modeling on this thing is so well done, I gotta tell you. Oh man, this is so cool. You know, we need to play like Ride of the Valkyries, right? Hey, is that copyrighted still? That's not copyrighted music, is it? Okay, you know what? We're gonna play Ride of the Valkyries. I think we need to do that. It's not copyrighted, right? It's Wagner. It's way old. It shouldn't be copyrighted. So yeah, that's what we're gonna play. And then we'll go back to our rock music later. Give me a second here. Okay. All right, gonna have that start in the background. All right, let's get going here. Just gonna hop on and we'll get going. Absolutely, you're gonna have a blast. Helicopters are super fun, and this is so well modeled too. Okay, so I'm gonna stay in ground effect until I get to about 15 knots, and I've got effective translational lift and translational lift taken over. At that point, I'm gonna go ahead and start climbing out. We'll make a right turn once we're past the terminals there, and we'll head out over the 101 and see if we can find the medical center. Okay, here we go. Taking off. Okay, about 15 knots there. Gonna go ahead and gain altitude. I gotta tell you, jumping from the Corsair to this is like night and day. It really is night and day. This is nuts. All right. Once we're past the terminals there, we'll go ahead and make a right turn, see if you can spot the 101. By the way, is stuttering kind of bad on stream? Let me know. Because if it's bad, I might have to turn off the name tags. Oh boy, we passed it already. There's the 101 right there. No stutters? Awesome, thank you, absolutely. Much appreciated. So I'm gonna fly at about like 500 feet, you know, probably plus or minus 100. Directly over the 101. You got Route 87 there that goes right through, pretty much right through the heart of downtown San Jose. And that's the one that, you know, is right next to the airport there, if I'm not mistaken. You know, I gotta tell you, this is so cool. and the other thing about this, because the scenery is like, it's like 6 or 7 years old, right? The bing-photogrammetry data is so far out of date. Because of that, it's like a time machine. It's like the Bay Area from 7 or 8 years ago. look at Adam or Joe and Adam there. That's super cool. What happened to Absolutely? This is so cool. All right. Where's the medical center? I think that's it over there, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's it. So you got downtown over there, so the medical center should be just off to the left there. Pretty sure that's it. Oh, there's absolutely there. By the way, just to be clear, I'm not a big... The playing of Ride of the Valkyries by Wagner does not in any way, shape, or form endorse anything other than some fun helicopter flying, right? We're not endorsing the Vietnam War or anything like that. All right. Just thought it'd be fun since we're flying helicopters to play that. Look at this. This is so cool. Sorry, I'm not doing the best job of being lead helicopter pilot here. Okay, I'm trying to set us up here for final to the medical center helipad. Except the problem is I lost sight of it. 1 second. Sorry, folks. I totally lost sight of it. Where is it? There it is. Okay, I see it. I'm trying to bring us in on an angle that is aligned with the H on the helipad. Okay, there we go. How many of you, by the way, know what the dead man's curve is? Super interesting read on flying helicopters. Apparently, you want to always carry a little bit of forward momentum in the event that you have the engine fail, or both engines fail in this case. Whoops. Not enough forward momentum there. Okay, you see the helipad and the H there? Okay, trying my best here to get lined up. Boy, it's a real juggling act here. There we go. Not too bad, all things considered. Slightly misaligned, but not bad at all. I don't know how many of us will fit here, but feel free to land. I need a break from this because this is pretty intense. I gotta tell you, it demands a ton of concentration. We'll watch the others land here. By the way, that reminds me, I've got to get the flight recorder going so we can watch some replays of the landing, the final landing later at Stanford or the VA Medical Center, whichever one it is. Here's flight recorder. There it is. Awesome. I have not there, Dr. Mousebrain. Unfortunately, I have not had a chance to. But I heard heli flying in DCS is actually really, really representative of how helicopters are supposed to behave. I'm sorry, folks. I know I'm crowding the helipad here. Let me get out of the way, and that way you guys can touch down, and I will try and hover in place and watch you land. Gonna try not to crash into the hospital there. Boy, lots of anti-torque there. By the way, the helicopter engineering is really, really amazing. When I move my collective and my cyclic, or even my anti-torque really, I'm only controlling one thing on the blades. What is that thing? Do you guys know? It's really, really impressive. Sorry, I'm trying to get out of the way here, but I'm doing the worst job of this so that Adam can land. I'm doing a terrible job of this. But apparently, you know, when you move your collective and your cyclic, you're really only controlling one thing, and one thing only, on the blades of your rotor. And it's incredible, you know, once you realize what that thing is. The swash blade, and specifically the pitch of the blades, right? the RPM of the blades is supposed to stay relatively constant. Like with the FADEC on these this turbine-powered helicopter, with the FADEC here, right, the FADEC automatically sets the RPM exactly where it needs to be at all times. But even like if you had like a throttle, actually I think this does have a throttle, but you know, usually you set your RPM and all you do to maneuver the helicopter is just change the pitch of the blades. So the cyclic changes the pitch during its rotational cycle at one side of the rotor or the other. And the collective changes, it's called the collective because it changes the pitch of the blades collectively. That's why it's called the collective, apparently. And the anti-torque pedals, just control the pitch of the blades on the anti-torque rotor back there in the tail. It's incredibly impressive helicopter engineering is. All right, folks. Dr. Mousebrain says you flew the Huey a bit during the last free week, and holy cow, that thing was a handful. Yeah, I can imagine. All right, we're gonna hop over onto 680 here. Just follow 680 until it becomes 280, and we'll look for the next medical center. We'll look for the Santa Clara Valley Medical Center. That's gonna be our next stop tonight. Sorry, hopefully it didn't take off too fast for you guys there. Well, this is super cool. Let me change the sim time here just a little bit. Make it a bit closer to sunset. There we go, that's better. Alright, got Adam, Joe, and Absolutely back there. I love Adam's Xbox name tag there. Okay, this is downtown San Jose here, by the way. I'm not sure exactly how low or close you're allowed to get in a helicopter to these buildings. I have no idea what the regulations are for helicopters. I'm thinking the cyberpunk music actually works relatively well for helicopter flying. It just needs to be nighttime, and we'll be golden, right? Okay, where is it? I think I've got it in sight. I think I've got the medical center in sight there. I mean, but it is pretty impressive, isn't it, that these helipads are actually not just modeled in the photogrammetry scenery, but they're actually landable, like they're actual nice flat surfaces that you can land your helicopter on, which is pretty cool. Okay, there it is right there. So we're gonna fly, we're currently flying an upwind. Correction, sorry, we're flying a crosswind leg right now. So we're gonna do a full upwind, downwind, base and final here. Sorry, crosswind, downwind, base and final. The fact that we're in helicopter is screwing me up a little bit. So turning downwind here. I don't know if you can already spot the helipad. It's right there. It's got a cross with an H in it. I gotta tell you, I'm so impressed with how well this is modeled. By the way, what mode am I using? Am I using... Hold on a second. I'm using advanced, correct? Yeah, I'm using advanced. None of that basic stuff for me. I like a challenge. Just a little bit of a challenge. Joe says it's called a swash plate. You worked on the V-22 in the Marines. That's awesome, Joe. Thank you for your service, by the way. So very familiar with how helos work. That is awesome, Joe. Yeah, but Joe, I guess what I was trying to ask, right, was the swash plate technically just controls the pitch of the blades, correct? Or does it control something else as well? But Joe, that is super cool. You actually got to work on the V-22. That is super neat. That is an amazing feat of engineering, I got to tell you. Oh boy, here we go. Trying to carry just a little bit of forward momentum here, and not doing the best job of it. There we go. Come on, come on. There we go. Not bad at all. Right, pretty much right on the H. Slightly off center, but that was actually a lot better one than the last one. Okay, I'm gonna get out of the way so the others can land here. Oh man, that's a ton of fun. Joe, out of curiosity, how are you liking this mod? I know you're flying and you probably can't text, but whenever you're able to. All right, I'm gonna fly around here and watch the others land. Joe says kind of. It controls the pitch of each blade individually and as a whole assembly, so you have the full range of motion. Got it. Really cool, Joe. Super cool that you got to work on these in the Marines. Once again, thank you for your service, my friend. That is super cool. Blomes, good to see you, Blomes. Long time no see, Blomes. How's life in New Zealand treating you? Blomes, we're flying the freeware helicopter mod. We're flying VTOL airbuses around the San Francisco Bay Area. And believe it or not, we're just exploring some of the fantastic post-apocalypse bing-photogrammetry helipads, which surprisingly are actually landable in the sim. So absolutely it's about a touchdown on the helipad there at the Santa Clara Valley Medical Center, and you got Adam in the holding pattern waiting for his turn to come in. I gotta tell you, it's super tricky getting the hang of it, but once you do, it's like riding a bike, you know, honestly. It clicks and it just comes back to you almost instantly. Bloom says, wait, really? They work for landing? Yeah, totally. You know, I haven't found any helipads so far that I've had issues landing on. If it's got a painted H on it, it's landable. At least in my experience so far, which is pretty impressive. Joe says you really enjoy it. Unfortunately, you don't see the helipads, but it's very fun. Oh man, Joe, I'm sorry to hear that. Why? So you can't see this helipad that we're looking at right now, Joe? Do you have the photogrammetry data enabled, Joe, in your sim? Because I'm really surprised to hear that. Absolutely, that wasn't bad at all. Good job. All right, let's watch Adam land, and if Joe can see the helipad, we'll watch him land. Otherwise, we'll head over to Kaiser Permanente next. There's Joe right there. Bloms, you're more than welcome to fly along with us if you got some time to kill. We've got about 3 or 4 more, actually 3 more helipads to go before we call it a night. So you got plenty of time to hop in. We're just south of San Jose Airport, Kilo Sierra Julia Charlie, southwest, technically. Oh boy, I'm losing control here. All right. Yeah, I was translating sideways there. Absolutely, Bloms, would love to have you. I've got the links, in case you don't have it, to all the livery packs and everything we're using tonight. The most recent version of the flightsim.to download. All right, just gonna watch Adam land, and then we'll head. Joe says yes, it's on, but the internet is terrible. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear about that, Joe. That really sucks. Hopefully it gets better once we get away from kind of these denser areas here in San Jose. Once we get to Stanford, hopefully it should get good enough that you can see the helipads. Okay, just gonna watch Adam land there. Oh man, so close. It helps to carry a little bit of forward momentum there. By the way, let me know in case the stream starts stuttering at any point. Okay, so what I'm going to do here, once Adam's touched down, is we're going to continue down 680, correction 280 here, until we get past where the Apple campus should be. We'll find Kaiser Permanente and we'll land there. All right, let's keep going here, in the interest of time. You know, if we can land at Stanford in the next 15 minutes, the next 10 to 15 minutes, we might have time to just go all the way north to the Golden Gate and finish off at the VA Medical Center. By the way, speaking of landable helipads, if you go to SoCal and Los Angeles, all the buildings in downtown LA, the helipads are actually landable. In fact, they're actually lit up at night, believe it or not. They actually have like little red beacons at night. Like steady lights, not flashing lights, but all the helipads are landable on the big buildings in downtown LA, which is super impressive. Absolutely, I almost lost control. You know, it really is like balancing on a bouncy ball, you know? That's what it's like. It's like balancing on a bouncy ball while running. Actually, no, while standing still. That's even tougher. Okay. Yeah, absolutely. That's a good description. You know, not too bad, all things considered, considering this was your first time, you said, in a heli in any flight sim, so not bad at all. Bloms, yeah, I think it should be. It shouldn't. Well, actually, Bloms, I don't know what the FADEC in this thing is going to do. I'm not quite sure what the FADEC is going to do. So if you fall out of the sky, no worries. You know, you're just going to have to start it when you're on the ground, right? Yeah, Bloms, just try spawning on top of me. We're on the West US server. See what happens. You know, if you end up crashing, no big deal. You're just going to just start your engine on the ground. You know, wherever you end up, that is. Okay. I'm trying to think just how far down we go here. You know, the problem is this doesn't look anything like what it does right now. It really is like a time capsule from like years past, because you don't have... So we're coming up on Cupertino here in a hurry, and in real life, this should be... Okay, yeah, it's not here, but I see the helipad there. But in real life, this is all the new Apple campus. So in real life, the big circular Apple Park building is right there. All these buildings have been cleared. I think these buildings used to be HP, if I'm not mistaken, until Apple bought the campus and completely demolished everything. And they built their massive new headquarters out here. All right, so can you guys see the red helipad down there? This is the Kaiser Permanente Hospital. I'm just going to overfly the helipad to see exactly what the direction that we want to land at is. Okay, that way. All right. I'm just going to turn upwind here, and I'll fly a pattern. In real life, I think at this point I'd pretty much be right over Apple Park. You know, in a way, it's kind of cool, right? Because it really is like a time capsule from back in the day. And Adam, you're like from this part of the world, aren't you? I'm kind of curious if how familiar these landmarks look like to you. Bloms, I have not. I have never picked up any of the Haleys in DCS. We did have Mr. Mousebrain in chat earlier. He actually was a volunteer for the Commemorative Air Force Museum in the Atlanta area. So he was like talking to us when we were flying the Corsair earlier. He apparently has flown a fair amount of DCS and a fair amount of the Healy stuff in DCS. So I have not had a chance to try it though. Yeah, that's what Mr. Bowsbrain was saying as well, I think, earlier. Okay, absolutely just touched down. I'm gonna bring it into land here. Adam says it somewhat resembles what you expect. I mean, you know, it's pretty good, obviously. You know, the things that haven't changed since whenever this photogrammetry data was collected is where you'd expect it to be. That being said, some of the massive landmarks that you see from the air, like the Apple building, it's kind of strange not to have that there as a landmark. Boy, it's so tough here. I'm trying to carry a little bit of forward momentum here as I bring it into the land. Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. I don't know how I didn't screw that up royally. That wasn't the best job. That was not the best job at all. And I'm sure that looked way worse than it really was. Because I'm completely zoomed out here with this kind of fisheye perspective in the cockpit. There's Joe right there. I'm going to keep Joe company. Joe's doing a great job of hovering. And you know how hard that is? Like an out-of-ground effect hover? That's a pretty good job that Joe's doing there. Let's see if I can line up next to him. Bloms, the nearest airport is probably Moffett Field. Oh boy, I'm trying to remember the identifier for Moffett. Bloms, look for San Jose Airport, Kilo Sierra Juliet Charlie. Kilo Sierra Juliet Charlie is the airport we departed from. But if you look just west of San Jose Airport, you'll find... If you look just west of San Jose Airport, you'll find Moffett Field. And we're somewhere between Moffett Field and San Jose Airport. That's where you'll find us. Yeah, totally, Dr. Mousebrain. It is just constant work. You know, folks, we'll definitely head... Tell you what, we'll head up the VA Medical Center. We'll head all the way to the Golden Gate Bridge. We might even land in the Marin Headlands somewhere. Oh man, it's so much work trying to keep this. But look at this, like we're doing a pretty good job of formation hovering, aren't we there, Joe? Or at least we were until great job landing there, Adam. That was a solid 10. That was a good landing. All right. I think we've all had our turn, right? Joe, the helipad showing up for you yet or not yet? Okay, let's go find 280 again, and we'll follow 280 all the way up to the Stanford Hospital. Absolutely, Bloms. Let's see what happens. You know, on the off chance, Bloms, that the FADEC doesn't work or whatever, and you end up on the ground, no worries, just start on the ground, right? Yeah, I guess we'll see what happens. All right. Oh, I totally missed it. There it is. 280 was behind me. AMC. Man, I gotta tell you, I really miss going to the movies. watching Kong versus Godzilla on HBO is not the same thing, right? Watching it on your television. I really miss going to the movies, I gotta tell you. Yeah, totally, Adam. It really does. It's super impressive. You know, that's why I was saying, right? You know, I can't believe I'm saying this, but this actually might be my new favorite aircraft in MSFS. An aircraft without wings is probably my new favorite aircraft in MSFS. Mostly because the ground handling physics in MSFS are so bad, you know, especially if you're flying tailwheel. So as much as I love both the Spitfire and the Corsair, I love flying them I hate the way they behave on the ground because they don't behave like real tail draggers. So the reason I love this so much, I think, is because you don't have to deal with ground handling. You know, the only ground handling you have with this thing is at the moment of touchdown, and that's it. Heelys are nice. I totally agree with that. There's Bloms. We got Bloms in sight. Although Bloms appears to be a bonanza. Oh no. What happened? I think Bloms might have a livery I might not have or something. That might be it, potentially. Look at Joe going sideways there. Joe, out of curiosity, how long did you work on the Osprey in the Marines? Because that is such a cool experience to have had, I gotta tell you. You know, that is such a cool aircraft, honestly, it really is. And the engineering challenges of making that thing work were so enormous, you know. Such an amazing aircraft. 6 years, says Joe. Well, that's amazing, Joe. Joe, are you out of the service now, or are you still serving? I love how Bloms is showing up in a bonanza. Oh no. There's Joe there. Wow, look at the mountains here too. This is spectacular. Joe says you also spent time working with Huey and Cobra engines. That is awesome. You know, the Cobra is a really, really interesting airplane. Oh, or interesting helicopter, rather. Yeah, but that's some amazing experience you've had there, Joe. That's super cool. You know, I've only ever seen those at air shows. So that is super cool. Wait a minute, did I get lost? Where am I? We're still over 280, aren't we? The problem is I'm not used to seeing things this low in this part of the world. But yeah, no, we're fine. We're fine. Okay, there's the high school there, Foothills. Okay, okay. All right. Got the football field. Okay, I think I see the Okay, there's the Stanford dish over there. Okay. All right, I know where we need to go. We're just looking for the Stanford campus. So we're just going to go past the Stanford Hills and the dish there, and then we'll hang a right, and the hospital should be right in front of us, pretty much. By the way, Bloms, do they observe daylight savings in New Zealand? Because I'm wondering if because we had our clocks obviously shift. God, I can't even remember. Did they shift backward or forward? Backward. They shift. No, they shift forward. Yeah, they shifted forward. So we lost an hour. So focused on helicopter flying, I can't even remember what. Oh, you do there, Bloms? So are you already observing it right now, or what's the story? Because I'm wondering if our time shift is the same or different than before. Or sorry, the time difference is the same or different than before. Okay, there's the Stanford dish, by the way. It doesn't look anything like a dish. because the photogrammetry, the Azure, you know, Black Shark, whatever it is their AI engine is doing a terrible job of interpreting what that dish is supposed to look like. Spring forward, fall back. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, there we go. So yeah, our clocks move forward. So Stanford Hills here. There's the dish there. A really bad approximation of it. UTC 13 now to UTC 12. Got it. Yeah, so in that case, the time difference should be pretty much the same. Okay, we'll go straight over the top of the dish there. Oh man, this looks so cool. So there's the Stanford campus there. I'm gonna hit right for the campus. And I'm gonna do something I've always wanted to do. Just fly super low level right over Stanford. So there's the dish right there. Yeah, they did a terrible job. They did a terrible job with the AI engine of figuring out what that's supposed to be. Dr. Boutsbrain says, got a bit of a long day tomorrow, so you'll see y'all later. Hey, Dr. Boutsbrain, thanks for hanging out with us. This was super fun. Have fun in college, my friend. We'll look forward to catching you hopefully another time. And thanks, by the way, for joining us during the Corsair fun that we had earlier. And thanks for, chiming in with a little bit of the inside information you obviously have from your time in the commemorative Air Force. That was super cool. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight. You have a great night, my friend. All right. Gonna go right past Stanford campus here. Oh man, this is such a beautiful campus, I gotta tell you. One of the most beautiful campuses in the US, in my view. You got Cardinal Stadium over there, by the way. Where is it? There it is. Stanford Stadium is right there. You can sort of make out the bleachers. Oh boy, I'm not doing the best job of maintaining control. I'm trying to find the helipad. There's the helipad. Okay, I'm just gonna go straight in here. I'm lined up for the most part. I just need to get around these trees and then I should be okay. All right. So this is the second to last helipad. We'll finish up at the VA Medical Center. I think that's going to be the last stop tonight after this one. Okay. Boy, lots of concentration required. Lots and lots of concentration required. Here we go. There we go. That was not bad at all, actually. I mean, that was, I'm sure I would have left skid marks on my skids. But that was not bad at all. All right, I'm going to get out of the way so the others can land. Bloms is coming in. Oh no, Adam, sorry to hear that. No worries at all, Adam. Yeah, Palo Alto is the perfect place for it, for sure. Yeah, we're pretty much probably we're a mile to a mile and a half away from Palo Alto. Actually, maybe 2 miles. Always bad at estimating the distance from Palo Alto, but we're really close. So yeah, that's the right. Yeah, if you want to respawn, that's a good one for sure. Yeah, I'm running into a little bit of stuttering myself, by the way. I don't know how many of you can tell. So Bloms just touched down. Nice job there, Bloms. That actually looked pretty good. Joe's coming into land. So thankfully, hopefully that means Joe's scenery issues have been sorted out. I'm gonna land on the mall at Stanford, actually. Right after I see everybody land here. Joe's coming into land. Nice job, Joe. As I swamp everybody with my downwash here. Nice job. And there's absolutely coming into land. I'm gonna see if I can land on the S at on the mall at Stanford right there. You see the S there? The big S? Who hasn't wanted to do this? Who hasn't wanted to ruin all the flower beds at the Stanford campus by landing right on the S? So that's what we're gonna do. As always, folks, try this in the sim. Don't try this at home. Don't try this in real life. Oh, it's not gonna let me do it because I totally screwed that up. You can actually sort of see the flower beds. That's kind of cool. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna try this again. We're gonna go around. If anybody else wants to take a go at it, feel free to. I'm going to come around for another attempt. There's Blomes and Joe trying to make an attempt. Right this moment, folks, there's a lot of really angry gardeners with super sharp shears running out onto the mall there, trying to attack the helicopters with their gardening shears, because they're super upset, obviously, as you might imagine, that you've ruined their precious, you know, their incredibly well manicured, well-maintained flower beds. Alright, oh boy, I'm just not doing the best job here of speed control. Okay, here we go. Sorry, Joe. Whoever that was, sorry. I think I went right into you. Oh, come on. This is so much more difficult than landing on the helipad for some reason. There we go. Right on the S. Whoa. Okay. Adam, by the way, how's it going with reloading the sim? Sorry to hear about the problem you had, my friend, but hopefully you got that working. All right, folks. I think, tell you what, we'll head over to Palo Alto and we'll follow the 101 right next to Palo Alto all the way north until we get to 280 again. And then we'll pick up 280 close to downtown and or close to San Francisco proper, and just follow that up to the VA Medical Center. And we'll, oh, there's Adam over there. I can see him in the air. Awesome. Okay, so we're just gonna look for the 101. If you want to follow the 101 up there, Adam, you'll probably find us somewhere along that, going north. Now, there should be some other helipads between here and the VA Medical Center, but I'm not sure exactly where they are because I haven't really looked beyond the ones that we've already found. By the way, once again, right, if you're looking to find helipads, at least in the US, just Google AirNav space helipads space whatever the name of the state is that you're looking for the helipads in. Obviously, you know, I think most of the cities that have photogrammetry data in MSFS are in the US. And so, you know, whatever state it is, right? Like, let's say you want to find helipads in Mobile, Alabama. Just search AirNav, one word, helipads, Alabama. And you can find the full list of helipads. And what you can do then, like, or what I did at least, is I go into Google Maps or Bing Maps, whatever your personal preference is, and you search for the hospital name that's associated with that helipad. And then you can actually find where, you know, in the satellite imagery, the helipad actually is located. And surprisingly, they're all there for the most part. They're all landable, too, which is pretty impressive. Okay, there's Adam catching up to us. Blom's back there, Joe back there. Did we lose absolutely? I'm not sure. All right, we're just gonna follow the 101 all the way up here. Oh, there's absolutely over there. Cool. Man, look at the sunset. This is gorgeous. Absolutely says you turned your tree detail down and that helped immensely. That's a cool trick. I'm not sure where I have my tree detail set. So the tree detail, if I'm not mistaken, that setting controls the range, like how far away from you trees are rendered, correct? Or does it actually control, like, you know, the amount of foliage or whatever on trees? I'm not sure what exactly that controls. Okay, there's SQL up ahead, San Carlos. That's another fun little GA airport in this part of the world. Believe it or not, by the way, the SQL in San Carlos had nothing to do with IT. Like, it apparently, that identifier predated the presence of you know, all the tech companies out here. It's certainly predated Oracle. So Oracle headquarters, by the way, are just to the north of San Carlos Airport there. It's always been one of these really interesting coincidences in aviation that the identifier for San Carlos, right next to the Oracle headquarters, is SQL. And right down there, by the way, is the Aviation Museum. It's not modeled, obviously, but got Hiller down there. Man, this is so cool. 5 helicopters in formation. I'm gonna turn down my, actually I'm gonna turn on my panel lights. There we go. I'm gonna turn down the brightness of my screens just a little bit. It's almost too bright. Boy, you can't take my hands off the controls for even a second. There is like an autopilot function, which I think is supposed to replicate the trim function. So, autopilot on. So that engages the leveler and maintains the pitch attitude. Oh, so essentially what this is, I think is sort of effectively what the trim button on the cyclic does, right? Again, I've never had any real helicopter time IRL, but I was reading there's apparently a trim button on the cyclics of some helicopters, where if you press that button, that will relieve all the pressure you were holding, you know, the control pressure you were applying on the cyclic. And I think the autopilot function that they've included in this mod is sort of replicating that to an extent. Okay, you got SFO up ahead, and you got downtown San Francisco over there. Boy, it's stuttering a little bit for me. I'm not sure if it's worse on screen for you folks. Man, this is super cool. I gotta tell you, I'm enjoying this mod a lot more than I thought I would. I don't know about you guys, but I'm really, really enjoying this mod. I can't believe, honestly, it really is the most fun, I think, I'm having, or the most fun aircraft, I think, right now in MSFS, is this mod right here. You know, mostly because it's actually satisfying when you land, and land this well. Whereas, you know, with almost every other aircraft in MSFS, no matter how good your touchdown is, right? No matter how good your landing is, you know the bad ground handling modeling is just going to totally screw up the rest of your landing rollout or your takeoff roll or whatever. So this one, I think, is like the most complete fun experience I have. Like every other aircraft in MSFS, I enjoy it in the air, but then when I land it or take off, I just hate it because the ground handling physics is so bad in MSFS. This one is like the most complete fun experience in my view. Alright, we're coming up on San Francisco up ahead as the lights come on in the city here. Technically the lights came on a long time ago in real life, but we're just hitting sunset in the city. In real life, by the way, there's another medical center here with another helipad, but I don't think it's modeled. Just south of, just south of the high school there. Yeah, there's another medical center there. I think it's the Peninsula Medical Center. I'm trying to remember. But there's another helipad there. in real life, but it's not modeled in the sim, unfortunately. Jerry L, thanks for the high-speed flyby. Welcome, thanks for following. Okay, SFO down there. You know, I can't believe they didn't even include the San Francisco sign on the international terminal there. Yeah, you would think for, you know, all their claims about highly detailed, custom airports that they included with their premium, deluxe, whatever versions, they would at least include things like the San Francisco International Airport sign, right? Oh well. Oh man, this looks so cool though. Alright. So there's a couple of options here, by the way. We can hang a left and pick up 280 up to the west there and go up the hills. Or we can stay here and go past downtown. You know what, let's stay over the 101. We'll go past downtown and we'll work our way up to the VA Medical Center from the east of Golden Gate Park there. Yeah, so we'll work our way over to the medical center from over downtown, basically. Actually, wait a minute. That reminds me, there's another helipad we can find en route. We can land at Alcatraz. So we'll do two more. We'll do Alcatraz, and then we'll land at the VA Medical Center. Absolutely says, yeah, the hangar at Denver doesn't even have United written. It could be for copyright reasons. It could be copyright reasons. It could also just be, apparently, Microsoft is filled with cheap B-words who don't want to spend the money just licensing something that I'm sure United would be more than happy to license, right? You know, for the exposure, I'm sure United would have been more than happy to license it for minimal cost or free even. But, you know, I don't know. Honestly, the more I see of Microsoft stuff, you know, all the bugs that they introduced into the sim, the way they released the sim, while it's still technically a beta technology demonstrator that we're really paying for the privilege to use, the more unhappy I get with just so much of how Microsoft has approached this. You know, this is such a great sim, and I feel like they completely botched the rollout and the fixing of the problems. That being said, I can enjoy it. I can still enjoy it, but yeah, there's so much Microsoft could have done better, honestly. Blomes, indeed it is. It is super neat. I love it. And I gotta tell you, I just love that everything is animated now. The cyclic is animated, anti-torque pedal is animated, collective animated. Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, 100% agree. Absolutely squared. Oh no, stutters. Lots of stutters. But absolutely squared, yeah, totally. This sim, I think what makes it so good right now is the add-ons, for sure. Sorry, folks. This is where the stutters get really kind of bad for me as we come up on downtown. Okay. Let's head for the Bay Bridge over there. We'll just circle east of downtown. We'll find Alcatraz, land at Alcatraz, and then we'll land at the VA Medical Center. By the way, I did find a freeware mod on FlightSim.to that gives me the Salesforce Tower and a whole bunch of other buildings, like, so there's stuff in Soma, that area. All that stuff is included. I don't think they have the Chase Center yet in this mod. No, they don't. But they do have the Salesforce Tower and some of the newer buildings south of downtown there. So that's worth picking up if you miss having Salesforce Tower in San Francisco. Because once again, the photogrammetry data is so old. There's Adam back there, Joe back there. Absolutely says your laptop sounds like the heli. Yeah, my PC is really groaning under all this intense photogrammetry scenery loading. And what do you call it? Yeah, Adam, is totally worth picking up. Yeah, my PC also sounds like a helicopter right now. Okay, you got that's super cool. Look at that, right over the stadium there, where the Giants play. Yeah, I don't see Chase Center. I was looking for Chase Center, but that's not modeled in this mod yet. Yeah, I should have included a link to it. I totally forgot I even had it, actually. But there's Salesforce Tower. Actually, hold on a second. Let's see if there's a helipad on top of it. Is there a helipad on top of Salesforce Tower in real life? I don't know. Let's find out. Maybe there is. I don't know. No, there isn't. Yeah, there's just no way you can land a helicopter here. Well, we're the shot. I was like, I don't think there's a helipad there. I'm looking around to see if there's any helipads here that are landable on top of the buildings. Like, if you go to Los Angeles, pretty much all the buildings in downtown have marked helipads that you can land at. But I don't see a single one here, unfortunately. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I was like, I don't think they set up Salesforce Tower with a helipad. Anyway. Alright. Okay, we passed Fisherman's Wharf. Oh no, actually we haven't yet. Fisherman's Wharf is up ahead. Ferry building back there, by the way, and the Bay Bridge. And there's Coif Tower there. Alright. Where? Oh, there it is. Okay, there is Alcatraz. We'll go land at Alcatraz. By the way, let me know if the music volume is a bit too loud on my end. I can turn it down. Okay, so I think the helipad is on the eastern part of the island. It's not really marked. It's just kind of a flat area. You know what, I'm going to change the sim time a little bit here, folks, sorry. Immersion level is going to drop while I do that. Okay, so I think it's just this flat area here on the southeastern part of the island. Oh boy, stuttering. You know what, I'm going to have to come around for another pass. Carrying way too much speed and altitude there. I'm going to try and do a steep approach over the trees. Look at the Golden Gate Bridge there. Oh man, that's spectacular. Alright, I'm going to try and get the entire stream down in the next 10 minutes because I got to call it a night pretty soon. It's the temperature of the sun right now. By the way, this is sloped too, I think. It's sloped upward, away from me. Ooh. This might actually be one of my better ones, if I'm lucky. Oh my god, that was actually really good. That worked out pretty well. Let's watch Joe land, and Adam as well, and then we'll all take off in unison and head for our final destination. There's Adam coming in. This looks so cool. Seeing the Bonanza bounce vertically. Yeah. Out of curiosity there, Plomes, what livery are you using? Sorry, folks. I'm trying to get flight recorder going in the background for the outro. Give me a second here. flight recorder. Has anybody tried this, by the way? This is kind of a replay mod. It actually works decently well. Oh my god, Oh, I think I know what happened. God. Oh man, damn it. You know what happened? My stupid antivirus program decided to quarantine flight recorder. I was trying to get it started. I was like, where is it? So now I gotta... Sorry. We're gonna spend just another minute or two on the ground here while I figure out how to start flight recorder. There we go. Okay. One of the ones from that pack. Oh, that might be it. Yeah. That might be it. Where's quarantine? There we go. There are no active items to view. Huh, interesting. That's so strange that I can't... You know what? We may not have any replays. That's fine. That's no big deal. Haven't really had replays in the past anyway. Okay, alright, let's head for our final destination. The VA Medical Center. I think the final one might be totally worth it, because it's probably got the most challenging location to land at out of all the ones we've tried so far. And also, oh my god, look at that view. Got the Golden Gate Bridge straight up ahead. Look at that view, man. That is spectacular. Can I fly under the Golden Gate Bridge without crashing? Or is that still a limitation in the sim with bridges? I'm not sure. By the way, Bloms, do you have the Spitfire or do you have the Corsair or both? Out of curiosity. We had a ton of fun in the Corsair earlier. Joe was flying his copy of the Corsair as well. We totally illegally flew down the entire, or flew down a third of the length of the Grand Canyon from Grand Canyon National Park to Page, Arizona in the Corsair, and the TBM, the extra that the others were flying. It was a ton of fun. It looks like Absolutely was our guinea pig there, and it worked out pretty well. I think Absolutely flew right under the bridge, so that's super cool. We're going to give that a shot. Oh man, this looks amazing. I just love this part of the world. Oh no, absolutely, did you crash? It works. No, it works. Okay, good. I'm wondering if we can actually fly through the bridge itself. You know what? I'm gonna try it. Just for laughs. Since we're doing all kinds of what would be legal in real life nonsense and shenanigans tonight, we might as well do something you could never do in real life, which is just fly down the span of the Golden Gate. Through the actual towers, right? Let's try it. Let's see how well this goes. Oh no, absolutely. I've done that far too many occasions. Marin Headlands, by the way, here. Got the Point Bonita Lighthouse back there. I don't think that's modeled, though. Okay. Alright, let's try it. Let's try it. Because we're stupid. Or rather, I'm stupid. And because your lead pilot is stupid, everybody else in formation is just gonna follow along. Oh boy, I'm going way too fast. This is a bad idea. Hold on, I'm gonna come back around for another pass. This was a bad idea. I'm gonna try and go in a bit slower. You know, I should have enough clearance. The problem is, the kind of fine control you need, I don't think I'll be able to maintain. Look at Joe and Bloms doing it, though. They're doing an amazing job. Oh my god, that looks amazing. I think absolutely he's going head-to-head with them. He's going head-on the opposite way. Alright. Oh my god, they went the entire way, look at that! And absolutely came the entire way in the other direction. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Please don't crash. I'm too far to one side here. Okay, here we go. This is fun though. This is actually more difficult than flying the Grand Canyon and the Corsair, believe it or not. Oh, that was fun. There's absolutely falling along. Oh no, I think he hit the tower. All right. There's a Presidio over there. All right, let's go ahead and head for the VA Medical Center. It's on that little peninsula back there. Actually, it's not really much of a peninsula. But that's where we're headed. And that's going to be our final stop for the night. I'm going to overfly the helipad just to see which way the H is, you know, lined up on the helipad. Which will give me a sense of which way to approach it from. There's Golden Gate Park back there, by the way. Sutro Tower over there. Oh man, it's just amazing how well, or how good this looks in the sim, despite the stutters and stuff. Okay, there's the VA Medical Center right below us. Where's the helipad? There it is. I see the helipad. I'm just going to fly over the top of it. That's interesting. You see the way the H is aligned there? Okay, so, boy, you know, I'm going to fly right traffic to that helipad. Boy, this is that really the way it is in real life? I assume it is, right? But that's got to be a super interesting approach. Okay, alright, well, we'll give it a shot, see how it goes. Okay, gonna turn base right about here. Not much of a base leg since we're so close to the helipad there. And, you know, I feel like I've lost sight of the helipad now. Yeah, this is such a tough one to bring it into. Okay, I see it now. Okay, there it is. Dusting the solar panels. Hey, somebody needs to dust them. Somebody needs to get those cleaned. Oh boy, this is tough. This is not easy at all. Because you got all these trees too. Yeah, this is the most challenging location by far out of all of them today. There we go. I'm pretty sure I clipped the trees with my rotor, but that's fine. I'm just gonna stay on this end here. Alright, I'm gonna go into my drone camera. We'll watch everybody land. Oh, I think the problem is, I gotta be a certain distance away from people in order to see them, right? Yeah. Alright, where did Joe go? There he is, there's Joe. Adam's coming in to land. But look at the view from this helipad, right? You got the Golden Gate right there. Oh man, that's super cool. What a location. The famous VTOL bonanza, exactly. That's the one thing I should have anticipated before the stream is the eventual showing up of a VTOL bonanza. VTOL versus VTail, right? Hey folks, you've heard all about the VTail bonanza. Now let me tell you about the VTOL bonanza. Oh, look at that! Bloom's just landed on the top of the that little hospital building there. Parked with the cars, exactly. I see, absolutely there. Is Joe gonna come into land? I'm not sure. Alright folks, I'm a little past my curfew here. And this stream was kind of impromptu, kind of the last minute. But hey, thank you all so much for flying along. This was super fun. Joe A, absolutely, Blooms, Adam. This was a ton of fun, I gotta tell you. Both the Grand Canyon flight and the flight around the bay today in the helis was super fun. Wouldn't be half as much fun, I think, without all of you flying along. Really, really enjoyed it. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to leave multiplayer on. I'm just going to turn off name tags for the outro, and I'm going to turn the sound down for the outro. So feel free, by the way, to track along the camera if you like in the outro. And we'll call it a day. Okay, let me put my camera in. Oops, I actually did turn off multiplayer. Sorry, that was not my intention. I meant to turn off name tags. It's force of habit, I guess. Name tags is what I meant to turn off. My bad. My bad, folks. Sorry. Hopefully it all didn't just hop off right there. Okay, hop back into multiplayer. Hopefully everybody's still there. Okay. Alright, there we go. Okay. I'm gonna move the time to just prior to sunset. There, that should do it. That's a nice time. Got everybody kind of flying along. Just trying to adjust my camera settings here for the outro. Alright folks, this was super fun. Absolutely, Adam. I'm glad you picked up the sim. You're more than welcome to fly along with us anytime, Adam. And I gotta tell you, for those of you that never flew helis in the sim before, man, you all are doing an amazing job. I'd never really done any heli flying in any sim really beyond FSX way back in the day. You guys remember the old Robinson R22? So this was kind of a whole new kind of like thing for me to learn, obviously within the context of a sim. But boy, I gotta tell you, I really enjoyed it. I'm not quite there yet in terms of my full comfort level with this, but I really enjoyed it. You know, if you guys like this kind of stuff, we'll find another city next time. I'm not sure when I'm going to stream again, but the next time we stream, we'll find another city or a bunch of different cities, and we'll just go do another post-Easter helipad hunt for other, post-apocalypse bing-photogrammetry helipads, and we'll have some fun. I think I'm not sure who that is, but getting up close and personal with the camera and the trees there. Good job. All right, everybody. Thanks for flying along. Star 5 HD, how's it going? Thanks for joining us. Unfortunately, we're just about to sign out for the night. It's getting pretty late on the West Coast, and I got to catch some Z's. We do have our good friends Joe A, Blooms 1212, Absolutely Aviation, and Adam Barzak, who flew along with us in a quintuple of VTOL Airbuses tonight, and it was a ton of fun. Thank you all for hanging out. This was super fun. Star 5, the VOD of the stream should be available for you to peruse at your own sort of convenience and pleasure. But thanks so much for joining us for sure. Much appreciated. All right, folks, let me go ahead and cue up the outro music here and the outro scene itself, and we'll call it a night. Where's my outro? Oh boy. There it is. Alright, I think that's what we're going to go with tonight. Alright, everybody. I'm not sure when I'm going to be streaming again. You know, hopefully over the weekend, but I'm just never sure about these things, unfortunately. But I guess we'll catch you when we catch you. All those of you that flew along, thanks so much for flying along. Look forward to catching you, hopefully, in the coming days. Blue skies and tailwinds. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll catch you next time, everybody. Bye-bye.